Gonna be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life.
My theory on referees is you give them the nicest changing room in the stadium.
It's just the most bizarre thing I've ever
Hear me out.
I cannot believe Gabriel Bondahor's younger
That's
than
crazy,
that. That's
isn't it?
terrible. Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast, season 2. Forgotten what episode number, with myself, Dan Bardell, and Thomas Julian, back from the wilderness on my right. Dolan performed well, but we let Tom come back because I don't want to do the notes.
Well,
that's the only reason.
Plus, you're going to be missing for a couple of weeks, so we need to get good squad rotation in.
We do.
And make sure that everybody's fresh for that all-important period come October.
It's September, actually, mate.
September. A good start. I'm glad to be back. Oh, my. How are you?
It's like you've never been away with those kind of errors.
How are you? You all right?
Pretty tired.
Oh, yeah.
It's a late one back from fan camp. I felt I'd made a bit of a needy tweet last night, I felt, when I got home.
Yeah.
It was a bit needy, wasn't it?
It was
on
a
Twitter,
bit.
But luckily Rollo kind of went along with it, so that made it feel better. Yeah, late night getting back from fan cams, and then, like, obviously here doing the podcast again tonight. This is technically my lunch break.
Is it?
At the moment, because I've started work late today because I need to train some people this evening whilst they're on night shift.
I mean, one word that's not usually associated with you is grafter. But
you're going to say training.
Yeah, that's true as well. But you really have been putting in the hours, haven't you? When it matters for Villa, you're there for that.
Oh, as Angela tests, if it's Villa, I'm there.
To the detriment of your marriage.
Yeah, I'm there. If it's no, she doesn't mind. She's good. She doesn't mind.
Okay. We should do a quick mug update, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that, or shall I?
You do it.
All right, I'm reading as we go. Thank you to everybody that bought the second batch of 50 mugs. We very much appreciate it. They're all sold out now, so we've sold 100 in total. I actually need a couple more. So what we're doing at the moment is now we're kind of doing orders. If you want one, you need to let us know. So let the Villa View know on Twitter or get
email. I think Rollo wants email.
Or email.
Contact at thevillaview.co.uk.
There it is. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
So if you want to add to my two, because I definitely need a couple.
I've lost mine.
Have you?
I can't find it.
Mine's actually in my bag. We didn't have time to get a tea.
I mean, you don't need it now. I don't drink tea, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I've lost mine. I don't know what I've done with it. I had it last week. Gave Dolan his, and now I don't know where mine is.
Maybe
he could have hid mine in his hair and gone home with two, and I wouldn't have noticed, would I?
I mean, it's plausible, isn't it? Very, very plausible. So if you do want a mug, get in touch with Dan in the aforementioned...
Dan Rolinson, not me.
Yeah, in the aforementioned way. I'm sure all the information will be in the link below if you're watching on YouTube. But it's been another big week for the second week running. We've had 2 games to talk about.
Yeah.
So Ipswich earlier on, or on Saturday, we'll touch on that one.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that one.
It feels a bit like old news already, and a very disappointing game, really. And then obviously last night was an absolute thriller.
Yeah, good game.
Brentford 2, Villa 2, or the other way around, however you like to say it. If you want to say it right, you'd say the other way around.
If you want to be Tom Julian and say it wrong, do it that way.
But we'll come on to that, and obviously we've got a couple of new signings to announce. Well, one for definite, and we'll talk about the other one
because it's a bit concerned, to be honest.
We've gone all around the houses with Yannick Bolasie, haven't we?
Really
But we'll come on to that. So let's start, Dan, in chronological order.
Yeah, I had a problem with this last week because I did the notes and I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't remember which way you do it.
I always do it chronologically, but I noticed you did Yeovil first because it's most recent and most up to date. Which either way is right.
I mean, but they both work, don't they?
Yeah,
it's different things for different people's notes.
That's from The Office, isn't it?
Is it?
I can't remember what it is.
It sounded very David Brent.
It was David Brent. So let's start the way that it should be started. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 1. An eventful first half. Edwards hitting the bar for Ipswich, then Codger taking the lead for Villa, and then a bit of a disaster from Neeland to offer Ipswich a goal, really. And then Edom was sent off for two bookable offences, all in the first half. I mean, you're kind of scratching your head, but going, OK, Villa 1-1, got the man advantage, shouldn't be a problem here. Ipswich, not a great side, hadn't won at this point in the league this season.
Still haven't, have they?
Still haven't. And Villa don't come away with 3 points there. That's that's the kind of game that you're going to look back on in May and go, oh, that's frustrating. If that costs us, that's 2 points definitely dropped.
I mean, I was out, and when I looked at it and saw they had 10 men going in the second half, I did kind of think, oh no, I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or not. And obviously it turned out not to be. And I think, didn't Ipswich have the better chances in the second half as well?
Yeah, they did. And it's I don't know if it's a cliche or not, but playing against 10 men is harder. But sometimes it evidently is. And obviously Ipswich are not the best side in the Championship, but they set their stall out, and they wanted to get the point, especially when they've gone down to 10 men. But actually, they created chances as well, which is really worrying.
And we didn't.
Worrying that we can't kill them off. Because those, like I say, those are the games that we're going to come back and look on and be very disappointed with.
Oh, swore. I was going to say, how many notes have you got there, Tom?
I'll write that down.
Yeah, get that in and get that bleep. Sorry.
I was just...
Dolan swore twice last week.
Not as bad as that.
No,
that was very naughty.
I just couldn't believe how many bits of paper were getting spread out on the tape.
It's been a very busy week for me, and so I've kind of updated notes as we've gone. But anyway, do you want to hear what Steve Bruce had to say?
Yeah, let's hear what Steve says.
Well, he said, for 35 minutes I was delighted with our attitude towards a team who we knew had a lot of new players and a new atmosphere around the place. What he means by that is that they had no real connection. They were looking a little bit disjointed in times. Unfortunately, we gifted them a goal, and it gives them a lift. Against 10 men, we don't move the ball quickly enough or create enough. We still had enough chances, and there's always frustration when you don't win against 10 men, but we've got to move on and fight another day. Sounds a bit excusey to me.
Well, it does, but do you remember when, however we played, Lambert always used to come out and be like, oh, I'm proud of the lads. I can't fault them at all. Whereas Bruce, when we played badly, he does at least come out and say that it was bad, but it's almost as if he's saying, well, I didn't tell him to play like that.
Yeah.
And people obviously give Bruce stick for the way we play football, but when he comes out, he does kind of say, well, I can't believe we were doing that. We should have been moving the ball a lot quicker. So it's a funny one, really, isn't it? I find it a bit strange.
Does he get let off? And Bruce outers will definitely not let him off. But does he get let off because actually, when we played last night against Brentford, we did play better? So has he... He's kind of being honest there and saying we didn't move the ball well enough, and then that appears to be a little bit fixed in the next game. Or is that just we play good one game and bad the next?
I don't know, because you can't imagine... If anything, if he was going to send the team out to be a bit more defensive and slow, you'd have done it last night, surely, against Brentford, rather than Ipswich. So, especially 10 men. He's not going to have got them in a half-time and said, right, lads, they're down to 10 men. Let's move the ball really slowly. Yeah. He's not going to have said that, is he? It's a funny one.
We need to get an ex-player in. At some point we will have it again, hopefully. And I want to ask what happens in the dressing room. Because in situations like this, what does Bruce say? Like, I would imagine that Bruce would just be in there just going, all right, lads, 35 minutes, you played real well. Keep going, do what you do, and we're going to come up with the right result here. But is there a point where the manager can't say anymore, and actually it's just down to the players, and maybe they feel a little bit of complacency because it's 1-1, they've got 45 minutes to attack a 10-man team, and maybe they think, well, we're going to get this, and then actually it just doesn't play out like that. The kind of levels drop.
It's a difficult one, really, because it sounds excusey, like I sound like Bruce, but he isn't the one making the bad passes and the slow passes. You see, it's difficult. I mean, I sometimes feel as a manager you can only do so much at certain times. I agree, but Bruce could be more tactically flexible at times. Plan B's been mentioned a few times as well, that we don't ever seem to have one. But last night I thought we played, I mean, we're going to come on to last night, I thought we played really, really well last night, whereas obviously on the weekend we didn't at all, and perhaps lucky to even get a point. And all the games up until last night I kind of thought, we were quite lucky there to get 3 points or get a draw, whereas last night we probably deserved to win, I'd say.
Yeah, it was very much a tale of two teams, I think, because, like you say, I totally agree, and I think fans generally across the board think that the first 4 games of the season, including that cup game, we've been poor, but we've come away unbeaten. We're still unbeaten, but there were signs of life against Brentford. We scored a very late goal. And again, we'll come on to it, but yeah, it's positive to see the Brentford game, but that doesn't excuse the 4 games that we've... I don't know. It's such a difficult one to decide between points and performances. I know you talked about it last week with Dolan. I listened, obviously.
You listened.
Enjoyed it. But at some point you need both, you know? You need both because you're not going to get the points with the performances that we showed against teams like Wigan and Hull, with all due respect.
No, but I look at it and I look at the 2 previous years in the Championship, and we've started appallingly.
Yeah.
Like, being 5th, this is a good start, I would say. Obviously, we're disappointed we didn't win against Ipswich, and I mean, Dolan said about Paul Hurst absolutely ripped into his players after the League Cup game, and maybe that was a factor. They were determined to prove him wrong and try and shut us out, and it sounds like that they did that and could have had chances. I didn't see much of the game, if I'm being honest, but it sounds like there was a reaction. I said it could go one of 2 ways. He'll either get that reaction that he wants, or you look at Stoke last night.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in dire straits early doors. They've forgotten how to win, haven't they? So it could have gone that way with Ipswich, but they dug in and got something out of the game. And Neelan made a mistake. We've made mistakes. That's the other thing. Bruce isn't the one out there with players are making the mistakes.
Yeah, getting punished for those mistakes.
And I do feel like we always get punished when there's a mistake in there. Like, he drops the ball, Neelan, and he shouldn't have done that. He should have come out and got it. I didn't feel it was a difficult claim.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, and it's landed at the Ipswich player's feet. It could have landed to one of our players. The shot could have been blocked. He could have shot and someone could have been on the line and cleared it, but he went right where there was no one standing. So a lot of things have happened after he's dropped the ball. It's just the goals last night as well were a lack of a reaction to the second ball or the loose ball. I felt, and I think that's been a big problem so far this season.
For sure, that's absolutely true. One thing I just wanted to go back to, kind of being in the change room. Have you watched any of that Manchester City documentary?
Good.
How much have you
I'm
watched?
6th through. I've done 6. Got 2 more left.
I'm only on the second one, but I've found it quite interesting where Pep Guardiola, not obviously a native speaker, in the changing room will often dish out instructions, some of which you can't understand. As a native English speaker, I can't understand, let alone someone like Sergio Aguero who can't understand it. Do you think there's a point at which professional footballers are so fired up for the game and they know what they're doing, they've been doing this as a profession for a long time, that actually they're not really listening to the instructions, they're listening to the kind of the tenacity and the tempo of the manager? So it's more about how Guardiola's saying things or how Bruce is saying things than the only time Bruce and Guardiola are being compared there, by the way, but how they're saying it, not actually what they're saying. Do you know what I mean? It's the atmosphere rather than the actual instruction.
I mean, undoubtedly Pep gets riled up and he gets his players riled up. He's sending out world-class footballers to go out and do what they're very good at, and also they probably don't spend much of the time being behind or in adversity, really. Man City do they? You look at them and it's most weeks it's pretty comfortable for them. And I watched them on Sunday against Huddersfield, and Huddersfield just made it easy for them. I thought the way they set up was just saying come and break us down, but you knew that they would break them down. Like it was really a strange way of playing.
They're going to struggle, aren't they, Huddersfield?
Oh, they looked absolutely grim, I thought.
Yeah.
I was starting to think, if we'd have gone up, is this what we would have been like?
Yeah.
Like, what would it have been like if we'd have gone up?
Don't torture yourself with that.
No, I've got over it now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now the season started, and I quite like the look of our side at the moment. A few additions potentially coming in. I think let's go again. Let's just try and do it automatically. Let's not mess around in the playoff.
I should say, while you just say that, Gherkin Kev J tweeted in earlier saying since he was re-listening, which is, I mean, fair play to you.
What's wrong with you?
Re-listening to episode 1 of this series, and about how much things have changed already, about
massively.
How in the doldrums we were. About I was giving a lecture, I think, on financial fair play, which doesn't appear to have come to fruition at all. But how much things have changed now, and we've got this. The Villa fan base is kind of still split, where people are unhappy with Bruce or want him to stay. That's by the by. We're in such a good place.
Well, compared to what I thought we would be.
Compared to where we maybe should have been. I don't know. It's amazing, really. And sometimes you just have to kind of like check yourself and go, actually, we're in 5th. Performances haven't been great, but maybe we're on the up and we're going to be challenging.
I mean, okay, we should have beat Ipswich with 10 men, but quite arguably, as I say, Wigan, we were lucky to win. We scored very late. So point-wise, I'm very happy with what we've got. We're unbeaten, which is good. So now we've got that late goal last night. That takes us into Saturday nicely now. Whereas if we'd lost, we're going into that with a bit of a negative, because they scored relatively late, Brentford. So we'd have been coming off the back of a reasonably late goal.
Yeah.
Losing 2-1. Reading, I don't think they've won yet. They blew a 2-goal lead last night. So we go into Saturday, potentially some new players as well. We go into a really good place. I mean, how far are we off the top? Because Leeds only drew, didn't they?
Leeds are on 10 points and we're on 8. So
we're in a very good position early doors.
I think we said it early in our, well, maybe a couple of weeks ago in our pre-season predictions, that this championship season could be the most open that we've seen, especially since Villa have been down there. There's several teams, especially with the start, that nobody is 100% win record so far. So there's going to be 3 or 4 teams, Villa included, who are still going to be looking at that and going, well, there's a long way to go here and we can establish ourselves.
I mean, I look at what the predictions we made a few weeks ago and they're probably absolutely all over the place now, because I don't think I put Leeds in the top 6 and they look very good. I think you did, I didn't.
They were up there.
They look very good. I was a bit more concerned about Villa at the time.
I mean, I definitely put Bolton to get relegated.
Yeah, they've had a great start, Bolton. I think I saw something that this time last year, I think they had no points or something stupid. Bolton, they've accumulated an incredible amount of points.
I think I may have put Stoke to win the league.
I put them in the top 6 as well. So I mean, things are obviously going to change. But I was more negative about Villa a couple of weeks ago. I didn't fancy us, whereas now I look at us and think, if we get these additions, that we've actually got arguably as good a side as last year, but it's a kind of a different side with a bit more about it. I think we still miss. I'm going to give the keeper time because I think he will come good, and he would have done him good last night to make some good saves. Yeah. Defence needs sorting. We missed John Terry unbelievably, but I think we're making our own problems in defence, if I'm being honest.
Well, let's come on to the Brentford game then.
Yeah, please.
2-2 at Villa Park. 2 equalisers from Jonathan Codger, one in the 96th minute. So the obvious.
Was it 96? Was it
96th minute? Yeah. So let's ask the obvious question: is Jonathan Codger back?
I mean, from the first few games in our WhatsApp group, I was ripping into Codger. I wasn't happy with his work rate. Yeah. And I should have been a bit kinder because, to be fair, injuries and stuff have held him back. But last night, he looked really back to the Codger of a few seasons ago. Just the fact that in the cup game he did that little turn and got an assist, he did that little swivel and turn again last night and just finished it like he would have done a couple of seasons ago. He looks happier. He looked happier last night. His header he reacted quickest to a little nick off the defender's head. He looked more like himself. His hold-up play was better. He was beating players. He was holding I've just said that. He was holding the ball up. He did so well. I've mentioned it twice.
Yeah.
He just looked like the Codger I remember.
Yep.
And that can only be a good thing because that's a 20-goal-a-season striker when he's on form.
Yeah, Dolan talked about it quite a lot last week about that turn being the kind of, if you like, turning point.
Yeah. I thought he was being a bit OTT, but actually he seems like he was right.
Yeah, now 3 goals in 2 and 2 smart headers, and that's exactly what we need from a talismanic striker that has to be a successful championship side. You need a guy that's going to put the goals in, week out, and hopefully he's going to start to feel the love from the Villa Park faithful.
They loved him last night.
Who were starting to turn on him a little bit. Like, I was there at Wigan and there was a lot of, not booing of him, but anti-Codger feeling, because ever since he came back from the end of last season, we haven't seen the work rate, we haven't seen the class and the style that we grew accustomed to in years previous. So maybe justified that we were frustrated with him, but we're starting to see him back to his best.
Yeah, I mean, my dad doesn't make many valid points, but last night in the car on the way home, he said, "Oh, you do wonder what would have happened if we'd have had a fully fit Codger all last season. You do wonder whether we would have gone up." So he obviously hasn't let the playoffs go yet. I have, but he hasn't yet. But you do think he would have made a huge difference because he scored 1 goal, a penalty all season. Yeah, didn't he? If we'd have had Codger for the whole season, he looks back to his best now, playing like he did last night. You'd think that we might have accumulated more points, wouldn't you? You would. You certainly would. Well, now, one of the big talking points of last night was the stamp. What did you see could you see it from your... Not really. I mean, obviously something that happened by the way Grealish reacted, but it's a cowardly, shocking challenge, and he's got the retrospective 3-game ban. They've banned him for 3 games now. I don't know whether you've seen that before.
Yes, yeah.
But I always just think, well, that's no good to us. How does that help us? Yeah. Because that guy scored I know he scored the first and then he should have been sent off for the stamp, but he scored their second goal. Yep. We don't get benefited by him not playing for the next 3 games. Only the people that are playing Brentford will. And he played well. He looks a good look. I thought he looked a good player last year at Villa Park when we drew 0-0, but he just couldn't finish because he was getting all these chances and he just wasn't putting them away, because they showed the highlights of last season's game at Villa Park on the big screen before the game last night, and it was literally just Sam Johnston making saves.
Was it really?
That was all it was, and a lot of them were from Malpay. So he's come on leaps and bounds, and he'll be a player that'll probably go for a big fee in the next 12 months. That's what Brentford do, isn't it? And it doesn't seem to affect them. They played nice football, although not as much as I was expecting last night. But I almost feel like they should say, right, next time you play Brentford, he's going to be banned. I feel like that should be the rule.
It's an interesting twist, that.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Because we don't gain anything from him not playing.
So you get a 2-match ban plus the match that you got sent off against the team. I love that rule.
There's no one ever said that before. Is that a new thing?
I've never heard that before.
I'll tell you what, trailblazer over here.
But I don't see the downside to that. I mean, having just heard it 10 seconds ago.
I mean, the only other thing is it's VAR, isn't it? If we've got VAR, he's gone. Yeah. They'd have gone back and had a look at it 100%. It's just I mean, people said Codgers was a red. I'm not being biased, but I didn't think that was a red. I thought, because it's a genuine attempt to play the ball.
I guess you haven't heard Dean Smith's post-match.
I watched the highlights this morning.
Yeah, so he said about how Jedinak should have been sent off for leading with his elbow. So if
I've not seen that one.
If Malpay was going to get banned, then they were going to fight for Jedinak to get banned.
Tell you what, there'll be a few people at fan cams last night who'd take that.
Yeah, true. So that's. I mean, I felt that was a bit pathetic from Dean Smith, really. Dean Smith is a manager that we both rate. I think he's a good guy, and I think if you're a manager, he didn't acknowledge the Malpay stamped at all, which is acknowledgement in itself. He didn't deny it. So I think you're better off just going, do you know what? Yeah, that was horrible. We'll speak to him, and what will come.
Because Dean Smith would have known when he's seen that. I'm not going to have him for the next 3 games.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that reaction from Dean Smith. But I haven't seen the Jedinak bit back, so I don't know how bad it was. I saw it at the time, but it didn't look like anything, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I didn't think it was... one of those.
Plus, it was about 15 minutes later, wasn't it, or 20 minutes later, so you can't really say, he did it because of that, because a lot's happened since then.
You mentioned Neeland just a minute ago about how he will have taken a lot of confidence from last night. A couple of really good saves. As a goalkeeper yourself, as a
you keep saying this, and one day I'm going to have to play in goal again for something, and people are going to see it and say he's not a goalkeeper.
You're not getting any younger either.
No. Well, a goalkeeper doesn't matter, does it? 33 is a good age for a goalkeeper.
Is it?
I mean, I've just added a year onto my life, because I'm not 33 yet as well, but I am soon.
But what did you make of him? How was his reception at Villa Park?
Fine. Yeah.
People are giving him a chance.
Yeah, he didn't get a bad reception. He didn't do. I don't think he did much wrong last night. The second goal, was that his fault? I don't know whether I felt like it was a little bit harsh to blame on him. He did kind of get stuck underneath it a little bit, but he saved it.
I'm in a bit of a sticky spot because I've talked negatively about him before, and I kind of want to give him a chance, and yet I feel like as a Championship goalkeeper you should do better.
But he saved it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it still ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, but Hutton, again, where's the reaction to the second ball from the Villa players? Hutton got caught. The Malpay beat Hutton to the ball, didn't they?
Yeah, and I said this quite a lot last year, that I didn't think we were reactive enough in our own 6-yard box.
No, but attacking, I don't think that we usually are either, because we don't get enough players into the box. I don't usually think.
Yeah. I
mean, going back to Ipswich, that cross for Codger, it has to be absolutely spot on from begin, right on the money, because otherwise we don't score. Because there's only Codger in there. There's no one else in the box. I noticed towards the end of the game Jack was getting in the box a little bit more, and I'd like to see, he needs to add goals to his game, because he's got the talent to get 10-15 goals. Jack, he needs to shoot more. He has a few, maybe an effort a game from range that always goes close, but undoubtedly fantastic player. But if he could add goals to his game, that would add another level to his game.
Casho76 says, should this result be seen as a statement for us? Now,
no.
It's an interesting thing to say when you draw 2-2 and you grab a last-minute equaliser. It was a good performance, but we still should be at home hoping that we win every game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the performance that they put in last night should be the bare minimum, because they played well. We've got to sort the defence out, and I'm sure we'll come on to that. But we played well last night. I said I can't remember if I said it on fan cams or not, but if we'd have lost that game last night, I'd have found more positives than I had done in the previous games, because I thought we played well.
Yeah.
I thought we were very, very good going forward. Some nice link-up play. Codger was back to his best. McGinn had a very good game again. I thought El Mohammadi was actually all right on the right-hand side as well. But we played well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'd have took more positives even if we'd have lost that.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree. So on the other side of this, though, Supervillain says, was it 2 points dropped? Giving away shoddy goals, like you say, been punished for mistakes. If we can take that out of our game, I would say that the Ipswich game was definitely 2 points dropped. This one, I feel like maybe a draw was a fair result, or obviously we snatched it at the end.
I mean, if you look at the game, we were on top. We conceded what I would say would be a poor goal for two reasons, because I thought Hutton should have closed down, made more of an effort to close down the cross.
Yeah.
I thought that was poor. I thought Twanzebe didn't really react. If he's playing at right back, I don't expect him to be getting beaten in the air too much, and he got beaten in the air quite easily.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And then it's then the reaction that the Brentford player is the one who reacts first. It's a great finish, smashed it in the top corner. Neeland, absolutely no chance. I thought the first goal was poor. We then started to dominate the game again, created chances, scored with Codger just before half-time. I remember looking at the clock in the second half on 57 minutes and thinking, Brentford haven't touched the ball yet. So we were piling it on at the start of the second half. We then had a lull, kind of didn't really make anything happen, and Brentford started to come out on top and got that late goal. And then we made some subs, put the pressure on again and come back. But in between them scoring and us scoring the second, they had some good chances to make it 3-1, and they didn't take them. I think Dean Smith said after that was the thing he was more disappointed about.
Yeah, he was,
not conceded. It was the fact that they'd missed the chances to make it 3-1 and put the game to bed.
Should have killed it. Yeah, absolutely. Bruce, what did he say here? He agrees with you, Daniel. This was our
Daniel.
best. Yeah, you gave me Thomas earlier.
I always call you Thomas.
Usually, when I sign in to come into this building,
I mean, you could be anything when you sign in.
Usually, you make it a stupid name. Actually, I was quizzed today, so I'm quite glad that you went with my normal name.
Oh, really?
Which is good.
Because last week when Dolan was signing in, I put Chrissy Dolan.
Oh, did you?
And he was like, "Oh, very funny," as if, "What are you doing, you idiot?"
Yeah, he doesn't find
But then
it
he
funny.
didn't like it he did not like it when the receptionist called him Chrissy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was great. That was when I knew I was vindicating my decision to do that.
Yeah.
He was making out as if, "Oh, you haven't affected me here, you haven't done anything." But then when he was called Chrissy, he didn't like it.
It's all mind games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Steve Bruce said that was our best performance by a country mile in the first half. You can see what we're trying to do.
Sorry, I've just noticed the picture on your. That's a very smug photo, Tom.
It feels like it's very far away.
Yeah, it's very smug.
Is it?
Sorry, no one can see it, so there's no point talking about it.
Then the first mistake we make, they score from, but the reaction was good. Jonathan Codger looks a bit more like the old Jonathan Codger again, and we had the character to come back again and get something. I had a Twitter question here that I wanted to bring up with Codger. Ben Kennedy said, Codger's superb last night. Whole team being higher up the pitch and getting around him definitely helped. A real worry that we have no real backup, though, as he plays on the edge and is liable to get himself suspended doing something silly. Thoughts on that?
Well, injuries are probably a concern.
Yeah, of course.
As well, obviously, he's had a couple of bad injuries. I think we'll sign a striker. I think we all know who we want.
Yep.
I think hopefully I don't know anything on this one. Hopefully it's close.
We're not getting into your ITKs again.
God, I'm going to have to put those behind me. I tell you what, it is a war zone on Twitter when you do anything like that. People are just waiting for you to be wrong, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm worried it hasn't happened, but Lassie's still.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to that. You mentioned earlier defensively. We seem to have all the right players, just not in the right positions. Do you not think?
I think it's difficult when you've got James Chester's the only one who's playing his natural position in that back four.
Yeah.
And you've got a new goalkeeper. So having an unsettled back four in front of him, I'm hoping this. I like Jedinak. He's a very good leader, good player, good for certain games as well. Like when he came in against Blues last year, he's good for the certain games, good for the battle. But I'm not going to knock him because I don't think he's a centre back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look comfortable there. I mean, he's always going to make a mistake. Every game he'll underhit a back pass, and he had a header back last night that we nearly conceded off, where it was a short-headed back pass and Neeland had to come out and thwart the striker.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's his fault because he's been asked to do something he's not comfortable with. Not only is he not a centre-back, he hasn't got a left foot, and he's playing on the left side of the centre backs. He'll win headers all day, Jednak, and maybe that's why he's there, but there's more risk than reward for him in that position for me. And then you've got Twanzebe at right back who isn't offering much going forward. You got in front of him. You got someone who I wouldn't say is a right midfielder, although he did all right last night. El Mohammadi. You've got Hutton at left back, who's not comfortable on his left foot at all, so always has to cut in. In front of him, you've got Adoma, who did very well left midfield last season, but he hasn't really got a left foot either, so he has to cut in. So it just feels like this just areas of uncertainty and trepidation, and I just don't like it.
Yeah. Gareth Thomas, do we need to sign a centre-back? And on the back of that as well, Simon Beck, what is Jedinak doing to get himself picked? There was another question. If you see the state of my notes, they're written all over, so apologies if I miss your question here. There was another question about how does Jedinak play better with Chester because he can go out and win the ball? He's better at heading the ball than Twanzebe is, quite quite clearly with what we've seen from right back as well. Is that the reason that he's kind of getting picked? They're a better pairing.
But then I'd ask, why have we loaned Twanzeba?
Yeah.
He's obviously been loaned into play. So why didn't we get in a centre-back if he's good at heading the ball, if that's what we need?
I mean, if you're a centre-back as well, why aren't you good at heading the ball?
Chester's not the biggest, but he still wins his fair share of headers. And Jednak is very dominating in the air, but he can do that job from defensive midfield, really, because he plays so far back when he plays in defensive.
That would make us an odd shape, though. If he's coming back to win the headers, that seems a bit feeble. I don't
like him at centre-back. I believe we haven't lost a game with him playing there, but it's not something I want to try.
Yeah, so are you still hoping that we'll bring in a centre-back? We're running out of time with the loan market as well here.
I mean, Huth still hasn't gone anywhere. I know he doesn't really fit the criteria of what we're looking for, but he's big, good in the air. He's not quick, but he'd offer us something that I think we're perhaps lacking, a bit of leadership as well. He's fairly decent on the ball. Huth, he's big unit. He'd come and win the headers that Jedinak's winning, but he's a centre-back.
Yeah.
He's a free transfer as well. So you do kind of think, that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, wages.
Yeah, I mean, there's other positions I'd like to see strengthen. I'd love a left-back. I love an attacking left-back. I'm still a bit gutted about Joe Bryan.
Yeah.
And the fact that we weren't in for Douglas, who went to Leeds, because of $3 million. I think that's a no-brainer. I think he would have come.
Yep.
Obviously, he wouldn't have had to move house or anything, but
yeah.
Every game, I think that'll probably be the last time I see Jednak at centre-back. Next game, he keeps getting picked there. But there's obviously a reason for it. But I just don't see it.
Charlie Sharpie6 on Twitter. What were your thoughts on Whelan last night?
Good game. He had a good game, Whelan.
So how does he... We know that he can't play week in, week out.
No, he won't play Saturday.
So there's still this lack of consistency. You know, we haven't seen anywhere near as much of Conor Hourihane as we saw last season. Conor Hourihane, who really is in his prime at this point, at least kind of age-wise. You know, he has the quality to kind of dominate a game, Conor Hourihane, and yet we're not seeing him. Why? Where's the tactical nous behind that move, and why is Whelan getting the nod?
I think Bruce just sees them as different positions. Doesn't see Conor as the D-line midfielder. I mean, me and Dolan spoke about it, or Dolan and I, to use the proper English.
Very good.
Spoke about it last week, and I still think you can play all three. I was talking to Rollo on the way home last night, and McGinn has done very well, and I'm not doubting that. He's come in and he's settled in immediately, and he's a very good footballer, but you kind of think he got put in straight away, and Conor just got taken out. And I feel that's a bit harsh for someone that scored you 11 goals and got you countless assists last season, just to be taken straight out. And I think we'd look more dynamic with him, Grealish and McGinn on the pitch. And as I say, they've got enough intelligence to know when two have gone, one of you sits back.
Sure.
I don't see the need for this designated holding midfielder, because when Bjarnason plays there, he comes forward. So Hourihane could do that. He's got the right kind of passing range. I feel like he can do what Whelan is doing in that position without being disrespectful for Whelan. He can do the things that Whelan are doing. Whelan perhaps positions himself very well defensively, maybe better than Conor would, but I feel like Conor could do the things that Whelan's doing.
I just wanted to go back. Sorry, Jordan O'Brien was the guy that talked about Jedinak's heading ability. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
Oh yeah, he's good in the air. I'm not doubting that, but the facts are he's not a centre back.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
I agree, and I meant to say to you actually off air. Maybe I did. Maybe I put it in the WhatsApp group. I like the three midfield that you were suggesting. I know Dolan wasn't as keen. He wanted to have a holder.
He's more traditional, isn't he, Don? He's more of a conservative football manager than me.
Which is interesting, because you would have thought he'd be a bit more liberal, a bit more out there.
I mean, the guy's not conservative with his haircuts or his clothing.
No. Very, very, very much not. Is there anything else you want to get to on the Wigan game? The Brentford game.
I just noticed something last night that I found quite interesting. Where I sit in the whole end upper in the mixer.
Yeah.
Every time we're defending a corner, everyone's like, "Oh, leave a man up! Come on! What are we doing? We're at home. Leave a man up." But I noticed last night Brentford bring everyone back as well, and they're the equivalent of FC Barcelona, aren't they? I mean, to be fair, I was very complimentary. I was a bit too scared going into the game of what Brentford could do to us, and didn't think about what we could do to them. But yeah, everyone goes on about the way Brentford play, but they don't leave anyone up for corners either. So I found that quite interesting.
I think the style with football's changed though, hasn't it? It's not so much like you get the ball and you're just going to boot it to a target man anymore. But a lot of Premier League teams like to, if you've got a speedy winger who's kind of somewhere between the edge of the box and the centre circle, he'll come out to the flanks, and then the goalkeeper, if the goalkeeper's got it, he'll kind of launch it out with his arm rather than his foot, or a low drill cross. Kasper Schmeichel loves a low cross. Anyway, it's kind of, because football's so fast now, it's not so much that you need somebody that's waiting up there, because you're up there in 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, my preference would still be to have 2 people up there, because then they're not able to bring as many people forwards.
But it's a gamble, isn't it? Because they're on the attack. You're defending your area. Do you know? Like, I think if you left 2 people, maybe.
I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. Like, it's less.
It's a game of chicken.
It's less risky, isn't it? If you've got everyone back, I presume you're less likely to concede because someone will probably win a header or clear the lines. But I think, like, this isn't a dig at Grealish because he's not a defensive player, but he's back for a corner. He's not going to be clearing coming up and winning a big header for us. So what's the benefit of him really being there, getting him up the pitch? But it was interesting. I just thought that Bruce is perceived as this negative manager and Dean Smith's perceived as the second coming of Christ by some people, yet neither of them leave anyone up for a corner. I'd just love to know what the reason is.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, let's put
maybe someone will know in the comments.
Yeah, if you've got any real experience of good quality football.
I'll tell you who'll know.
Go on.
Wayne Homer.
Wayne Homer?
Oh, he'll know.
Yeah?
Yeah, football coach Wayne Homer.
Oh,
comments on our stuff, he'll know.
Let's know Wayne.
Let's know Wayne, please.
So do you want to have a quick look at the table as it stands?
Please.
Obviously, we're only 4 games in, so calm down, everyone.
Just on the side note, 35 minutes is absolutely whizzed by.
Yeah.
Absolutely whizzed.
Well, you're back with a pro now, aren't you?
Oh. I wouldn't class any of us as pros.
Yeah, definitely not.
To be honest, didn't you make a mistake within 2 minutes of this podcast?
And I just called Brentford Wigan. So, there you go. You get what you pay for, essentially.
And I swore after 5 minutes 40 because it's down on the notes.
I have written it down,
yeah,
so that's good. So Leeds currently sit top of the table, same points as Middlesbrough and Bolton Wanderers as well. All played 4 and won 3 and drawn 1. Leeds United look to be scoring for fun, don't they?
Yeah.
So they're having a nice time under Bielsa.
West Brom was scoring for fun at the weekend as well, weren't they?
Oh my goodness.
QPR.
7-1 against QPR. QPR are a horrible side. Horrible ground, horrible side, horrible manager.
I keep mentioning Dean Spencer and no one who listens to this podcast except for Tom Robinson knows who he is.
Yeah.
But my God, I saw him in the change room at the gym. And this was before they got beat midweek. He was worried. Yeah, worried. A worried QPR fan. And
they are terrible.
For those of you that don't know Dean Spencer, this guy's one of the most cocky lads I've ever met in my life, and he is not looking good.
No,
it's not looking good for QPR. They just look awful. But what if you hire Steve McLaren? I don't know what you expect.
I've got a bit I'm thinking about going to the QPR game away.
I think we will be going. I'll be going.
Well, it's such a.
You always feel it's almost like then. Well, I don't really want to go with you.
You don't want to go with me?
No, that's what I felt you were going to say.
Oh,
then.
no.
I don't want to go with you.
Should we have a family affair?
Your mum come?
My dad wants to come.
No, I don't care about him. What about your mum?
But the ground, the away end at QPR is so horrible. I couldn't see.
Well, yeah, we couldn't see last year.
I couldn't see, so I was kind of like, do I want to go back and pay 40 quid for that?
It is 40 quid as well. It's about 40 quid. It's the atmosphere.
I'm having a baby.
You are having a baby. You are having a baby. It's difficult. But it's local. I like the convenience of it because I make such an effort to go to home games. It feels like a delight to be able to go 30 minutes on the train and be at the ground for me. It just feels unreal.
I think I probably will end up going.
I'll go.
But it's going to annoy me. And so you'll get a bit of a grumpy old man tweet if you follow me. Anyway, we moved on. Brentford, Villa and Swansea make up the last 3 playoff positions as they stand on 8 points, and then West Brom and Wigan on 7 as well. So obviously long way to go. But interesting to see who the early movers and shakers are. And as we talked about earlier, it seems very, very open. There's no 12-point teams already, which is interesting.
2 things I've just noticed from your league table. Why did it cut off after 13? Surely it would cut off after 12 and be halfway.
I do a screen grab.
Oh.
And the BBC...
Let's not get into it. It's boring already.
Really boring. I mean, you brought it up.
My other thing is, one of my predictions that he's looking an early good shout if anyone took that tip, Ollie McBurney for top goal scorer for Swansea, because he's been scoring goals. I think he might be top scorer. That looks a good early shout, that did. I didn't put any money on it, of course.
No.
But it looks an early good tip.
Well, Chris Dolan went for Jonathan Codger.
Yeah, but Dolan, he'll be pleased with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Dolan went for a lot of things, didn't he? In the predictions.
Here's a little question before we get on to signings and potential signings and all that kind of jazz. Jack Luckhurst, is Jack Grealish as good as Ashley Young, or could he be?
I thought that was a strange comparison.
Yeah, I mean, Jack does qualify it by saying, I know that they might not be the same position. I guess it's the overall quality. Ashley Young's one of the best players in our generation, attacking-wise, I think we've seen at Villa Park.
Young was very good, and I'm not saying he wasn't. He had that one season where he was absolutely exceptional.
Electric.
When we finished 6th, same season Marlon was in the squad, coincidentally.
Is that the first Marlon ref?
It's the first one for a while,
Yeah.
I think. And I never thought he was the same the next two seasons. He had a good first half of the next season when he scored that wonder goal against Everton, and Martin O'Neill compared him to Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But then I never thought he was as good after that. But I don't feel he's fulfilled in his career what he perhaps could have done.
Right.
Ashley Young, he's done very well. He's won leagues and things like that. But seeing him play at full-back, and you remember how he was. I know he's getting on a bit now, but you think about how he was at Villa. Has he reached his potential that he could have done, Ashley Young?
But he's...
His best days were at Villa, in my opinion.
So, when did he leave Villa?
2011.
11. So he missed out on United's Champions League. I'm trying to remember.
He hasn't won the Champions League. He's won the league probably a couple of times.
But he's had a very nice career, and he deserved his move to Manchester United. He was quality.
He's given us good service as well. He wasn't like Milner or Downing, who went after 2 seasons. He gave us good service, Young, but I don't think he's fulfilled what he perhaps could have done. He's gone on and played for Man United for the majority of his career. So from that respect, he's been very good. He's played in the World Cup now, as well, albeit at wing back. So he's had an excellent career, but I think Grealish is a better player and can go further than Young. I think Grealish is a phenomenal player now, and will go on to be even better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think I kind of go on the other side of Young, where I feel like he's adapted as his age has caught up with him, and the speed has been lost, whereas the speed of the Premier League's got faster and faster. And the fact that he's maintained his career and kind of reinvented himself, because there was a couple of seasons or a couple of seasons ago maybe where Mourinho was looking to get rid of him. He wasn't really featuring as much for Manchester United, and it mattered to have gone so long without being at the World Cup. It was a bit of a travesty for him, and to have that.
I mean, just face, he didn't miss much in previous World Cups.
True, yeah, he picked the best one, but to be able to have got back and be one of England's leading players, I think is incredible. He got a little bit of stick from certain people at the World Cup, but I was very pleased to see him there, and good career, well done.
I think it says more at the moment about the state of Man U and the state of Mourinho that he's still playing full-back for them.
Do you think?
He played right back at the weekend, didn't he? And I think he had a bit of a torrid game. He's just... I feel like Man U should be better than having him at full-back.
But Man U finished second, and he went to the World Cup.
A long way off first, though.
But second, that's still pretty good. Manchester City are a class above, and he was the best choice to go, potentially one of 2 best choices to play left back or left wing back for England.
Talking about Man City in the documentary again, it just reminded me of it. I mean, you obviously haven't got as far in as me, but what really struck me from that was how much of a leader Fabian Delph is, even at Man City. I found that quite interesting, because people said he shouldn't have made that move, but the way he did it was wrong. But really, you look at what he's done, and I think he's getting to play for someone who could be the best manager ever. You look at the infrastructure of Man City and how cool it looks there, how good it must be to even just work there, like that assistant kit man.
Yeah, he's great.
Thought, what a job.
Yeah.
And you probably haven't seen it yet, but one of Pep's best mates is just on the coaching staff. He's never been a footballer or had anything to do with football, but he's just on the coaching staff as basically Pep's ears.
That's essentially what I'm doing with you, just hoping to pick up followers.
I wouldn't be picking you on my coaching staff.
Would you not?
I wouldn't have thought so. You need to offer something, and other than notes, I'm not sure what you'd offer me.
Imagine all the notes you'd have. I'll tell you what I did want to mention from the Brentford game, Josh Nicholson.
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
I'll maybe let you...
No.
You take that. Well, he was the mascot.
You saw him on the telly. He was on the telly, wasn't he, as well?
He was, and there's been a few little bits. There was a bit on Sky Sports, and obviously Birmingham Mail picked it up as well. And Josh Nicholson obviously gone through a lot, and to go out as mascot, just unbelievable.
I think the commentator said it's his 3rd battle with leukemia in 4 years, which is just an absolute travesty. And I've come reasonably close to his mum and dad and Josh and his family now, and I've got a lot of time from lovely family, and their other lad, Luke, little Luke. They're just such a lovely family, and they don't deserve to be going through what they're going through. And credit to Jack Grealish, because he helped, and credit to the club as well. The foundation helped sort it out. I was speaking to Guy Rippon about it, and they've and Tommy Jordan as well. I think they've all clubbed together with Jack and made it happen. And Jack paid for Luke's kit. Not Luke, paid for Josh's kit. I'm all over the place, getting emotional. Paid for Josh's kit last night as well, and I just know how much of a hero Jack is to Josh. And you look at how he was with him and stuff, and you just think that's what makes Aston Villa a class club.
Yeah.
Nothing more
to say.
It was one of his dreams because they've got to come to London now for the next few months. They've got to uproot themselves to London and live there. So I'm going to make sure I'll go and see him.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come as well.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
I mean, Josh won't know who you are, but
No.
it'd be nice for him.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to come.
No.
But
You can come.
But you can wish my best, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they want, it doesn't matter to me. Brilliant. Well done, Aston Villa, for sorting that. That's great.
Well
Love
done,
that.
Jack.
And well done, Jack. Okay, so let's talk about the new signing, singular, as
Unless something's happened while we've been
Do you
in.
want me to check?
Yeah, let's have a
Hang
check. Could be some breaking news on the podcast that actually won't be breaking news by the time anyone listens to it.
Yeah, by the time you get it. Let's go
This
to
Balassi
Twitter.
thing's nuts. Where is it?
Oh, it's exciting.
I was told it was done.
Aston Villa FC.
You're really going a long way about looking at this.
No, I've got it here.
Oh, yeah, you're okay.
Don't worry.
Fair enough. Nope.
No.
Not happened yet. Interesting stats about Albert Adoma last night on the screen because I didn't think he had a great game.
92% passing accuracy, 6 recoveries, and 5 chances created. He looked to play well on the telly.
What are these chances that are created? I don't remember him. He frustrates me a bit, Adoma, to be honest, at the moment. I really like him. He was really good last season. Great character to have around the place. But I feel he just doesn't get his head up when he crosses the ball.
Well,
Swings it in and it annoys me.
I think that kind of comes on to what we're going to talk
Does
about
that
with
class
new
as
signings.
5? If you just chuck 5 crosses into the box, does that class as 5 chances created?
I guess it does,
So I think
potentially.
that shows you that stats can be dressed up
Yeah.
anyway.
They can. I mean, yeah, the stats are crazy. They have to be. I think stats have to be taken with qualifiable evidence.
Yeah.
What you can see with your eyes.
Yeah, that's how I judge things.
Yeah. All right. Anwar El Ghazi has joined Aston Villa on a season-long loan from Lille. 23-year-old winger, can also play left-back and centre-back if required.
Centre-back?
Yeah.
No way.
According to the Mail.
No, that's incorrect.
According to the Mail, he can.
You need to check your sources.
Do you want to?
No, let's not get it up. That's wrong.
Um,
I'm telling you that's wrong.
So I'm not going to pretend I'm proficient in in knowing all about El Ghazi.
I mean, I know virtually nothing, so...
Kem was quite a shock to me, that move. I think because we were all expecting a couple of other announcements.
Yeah.
And then El Ghazi gets announced and got brought out at half-time in
Says
front
he's
of the
looking
fans.
forward to... So he got goosebumps, didn't he, sitting in the ground the night before?
I'm thrilled to join a football club of this size. I visited Villa Park after flying in from Holland and it gave me goosebumps. I can't wait to get out there and experience it for real and play in front of such passionate fans. Well, you've got that right.
Yeah, I mean, this must be how you feel when we talk about anything, because I know very little about him. And virtually nothing about him. That must be how you feel when we talk about anything.
That pretty much is.
Yeah,
It's
so-
pretty much how I go through life.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but he's played for Holland. He's come through the Ajax Academy, arguably the best academy in the world. They've brought through some wonderful players over the years. Perhaps his career's gone awry a little bit over the last few years. Obviously it has, because that's how he's ended up in the Championship at Villa Park. But it seems like a Mendes Black Book signing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really. So hopefully he'll get games.
Yeah, well, I hope so. So that kind of brings me on to Jay Morgan's question here about game time for players, because we've seen, as the season's kind of progressed, Andre Green getting less and less time. Let me just find that here.
You know what? Genuinely, if we sign Balassi, it genuinely wouldn't surprise me to see Adoma go on loan back to Middlesbrough.
Really?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
So with Jay Morgan, with Balassi, El Ghazi and possibly Tammy Abraham, where do they all fit in? On Albert Adoma played well last night. Green is gagging for game time. Jonathan Codger is back. And will Tammy Abraham be happy to play second fiddle? Do we shift Jonathan Codger out wide or go 2 up top? Can't wait to see them. But how do they all fit in?
I mean, you need a squad. And let's not forget, I know they're injured at the moment. We've still got Hogan and Keane and Davis
yeah.
as well. And Hepburn Murphy came on and the cameo
O'Hare.
last night. So, I mean, O'Hare will go on loan.
Yeah.
I would have thought. But, yeah, I genuinely wouldn't surprise me to see Adoma go on loan somewhere.
But Robbo...
With a view to a permanent.
Well, what about Andre Green, though? Robbo, one-time presenter of this show, and maybe again, potentially, in a couple of weeks. Similar concern for Andre Green, his development, because it feels like he's too good for on loan, but he doesn't seem to be able to get into the team.
I mean, if he's not starting games now, and Al Mohammed is kind of playing over him, in not his natural position, I suggest he's going to struggle for games. But you do need a squad. You need a squad, it's important. And Bruce seems to have got into his head that he needs to do a bit more rotation this year, so maybe people are going to get... last year we were very settled. The team was pretty much the same. Second half of the season especially, that team very rarely changed. So maybe with the rotation element, we're going to need more players this season.
I don't feel like we found the balance, though. I feel like now we're going too much rotation.
Yeah, it's very Villa, isn't it? Move from
like,
one thing to the other.
Just go find a happy medium.
Yeah, I mean, people like Grealish will play every game when he's fit. I actually like Codger out wide because he's quite unpredictable. I don't think fullbacks know how to deal with him a bit more, so I like him out wide. So if we do get Abraham, who I do want, I'm really keen for us to get that over the line. Then Codger can spend some time out wide. Then you've got El Ghazi and perhaps Balassi as well vying for one slot. It's difficult to see where games are going to come from for Green and Adoma. That's why I think I've just got this feeling. I'm not basing it on anything. I don't know anything, but it just wouldn't surprise me to see it. Adoma's always the first one to get subbed, isn't he?
Yeah.
I just feel like he may, and he's 30 odd now, Adoma as well. Middlesbrough still like him. If they've missed out on Balassi, they'll be in the market for a winger. It just wouldn't surprise me to see Adoma rock up back at Middlesbrough.
Do you think Adoma's going to look back on his career and think kind of what might have been? Because
he's had a good career.
Do you not think he could have been a Premier League player?
I mean, we'll never know because he hasn't played in it.
Well, exactly. But I think when we signed him, and certainly earlier on in his career at Villa, the first half of last year, he showed real quality, and we were excited to see him in the Premier League. And yet he may well spend he may become a career Championship player.
I mean, if you remember, he had the chance to be a Premier League player at Middlesbrough, but he chose to come to Villa.
Yeah, fair.
At that time and dropped out. Maybe, don't mean this disrespectfully because I don't know what Albert Adoma thinks. Maybe he kind of knows his limits. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's not good enough to be a Premier League player, and that's why he decided to leave Middlesbrough and drop down to the Championship with Villa, albeit obviously a bigger club.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he saw Middlesbrough struggling and thought Villa are going to go on the way up.
He's come through the lower ranks as well, Adoma, so he's achieved a lot. He's had a very good career. I don't know, it'd be interesting to find out something like that, because maybe he doesn't back himself. I think he could be a Premier League player, but I think he's perhaps a little bit inconsistent. He had that great purple patch where he was scoring every week.
Yeah.
But since February, March time, I don't feel he's been anywhere near the level he was previously.
If you are Albert Adoma, let us know how you feel your career's gone. Also, purple patch. What is that phrase, and where? I know it, but where does it come from?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
You're asking the wrong man. I would have expected you to know.
I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
Not now.
No. Look at it now.
So you kind of answered the question there from Jack1W10. Do we still need a striker with Codger returning to form? You think we do?
You never know when injuries are going to occur. We don't know how long Hogan and Davis are out for. Hepburn Murphy likes an injury. Codger likes an injury. We need a striker.
Well, let's talk about it because we've alluded to him a couple of times. Yannick Balassi.
Don't let me down, Yannick.
I've got here on my notes. Another winger, Yannick Balassi, is also close, / has now signed.
You were expecting it?
Oh, well, I was just waiting to see what's happened.
I've been feeding you info.
Exactly. The 29-year-old has been linked with first Borough and then with Villa. He was at Villa Park last night in the stands. And
chatting to the fans.
And now and Bruce was talking openly about how he hopes it would get done today, this being Thursday. And yet we haven't heard anything, and now it's after working hours are done, and it doesn't look like it'll be announced today for sure.
I mean, we like a late unveiling, don't we? We tried to do one at 5:30.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but it was supposed to be a live interview, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what occurred there. So we signed McGinn quite late as well in the day. That was a late. They got the live interview. They did the live interview for that one. That was quite a late signing.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll happen tonight after we've done the podcast. I mean, that would be vintage Villa View podcast.
Yeah.
For that to happen.
Are you excited if Balassi happens? Is that an exciting signing for you? Is that the Snodgrass of last year?
I think it's a different type of player, but I think it rectifies a pace issue and a trickery issue. I think it takes the pressure off Jack a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how quick El Ghazi is. I'm not sure because, as I say, I've not seen much of him, but Balassi's something a bit different, isn't he? He's a bit of a wild card, bit of a maverick, very skillful, very, very tricky. And as I say, I think Grealish has 2-3 men on him at a lot of times. Having another direct runner, a direct threat in Balassi out there would probably take a few men off Grealish. So I think it's only a good thing. I think they're good friends as well, Grealish and Balassi. So it'd be something good. It'd be a good signing. If you'd have told me when we got relegated that we'd have Balassi in a few years, I'd be thinking, oh God, we're back in the Prem.
Yeah. I've seen mixed responses from both Villa fans and Everton
again,
fans.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if that gets over the line, and hopefully it does, and then we'll see a damn Bardell T-Brew.
No T-Bruce. No T-Bruce. I tell you what, if he doesn't sign, I don't know what we'll be saying, because I'm going to get some stick, aren't I? But I mean, everyone could see he was at the game last night, so I've not made it up. Yeah, he should be signing. I don't know why it hasn't happened.
Derek Croggan, and I'm going to go with Croggan. Anyone else leaving? Do we reckon on loan mainly? I think that was in Derek's tweet. But do you think anyone else going? You mentioned potentially Adoma on loan.
That's just a guess.
Cal O'Hare on loan.
Yeah. I'm struggling to see where Lansbury's going to get any game time.
Yeah. But
I struggle to see who's going to take him on 40 grand a week as well.
Yeah.
He isn't going to get in the team now. And if Jake Doyle-Hayes is still around, there's an argument to rather have him in the squad for the future rather than Lansbury. I mean, he's not going to get games, is he?
Yeah.
And he's one of our highest paid players, so that's someone who hasn't worked out. That's all. Oh, burped. That's all. So I don't know where he'd go though.
This might be your worst Villa View podcast performance.
I've just made a couple of
big errors.
You're like Neeland. They're not even errors, really.
But they've cost you.
Strange things are happening to me. Swearing, burping. It's only a little one. If I hadn't said anything, no one would have heard.
I heard it.
Did you?
And smelt it. Les White. Let's move on. Les White sent us a tweet. He said, can we talk about Aston Villa TV? Because there's been a fair few issues with that. Now, that's not something obviously you deal with too much, and I've used Aston Villa TV on the off chance, because you can't subscribe to it in the UK. But
have you used it when you've been abroad?
I've
never used it, so I don't know what it's like.
I've used it abroad, but you can also sign up to it as a one-off in the UK as well. I haven't actually used it this season. But there have been a few issues with a few fans saying that the connection is poor and the commentary cuts out and this kind of stuff. Obviously, we can't do anything about that. There's nothing we can do.
We're going to raise it, I think, at the next FCG. I mean, a bit of apologised, haven't they? They've come out and apologised. It doesn't look great. The snippets I've seen of it, it doesn't look the best quality. There's problems with lag or the audio being ahead of the game. All we can do is raise it at the FCG, because it's a premium product, isn't it? So it needs to be right.
Yeah, and thank you for Les for tweeting at us. We will raise it, and hopefully that'll get sorted. They're obviously working on it behind the scenes, you would hope, because like you say, it's an important product, and there's a lot of fans in America.
It brings in good money for the club as well. So they have to get it right.
Yeah, well, fans are important, whether they live in Birmingham or
Barley.
Brisbane. Yeah, okay. There you go. What else we got? Adam Wright tweeted in. He said he wanted to say it on fan cams, but forgot because there were too much other things to say. Great atmosphere at the game last night, and sometimes midweek games don't kind of get up to it, but last night was good.
I thought the negative Nellies were less last night, to be honest. Although as soon as we went 1-0 down, I did hear a few people saying, "You're a dinosaur, Bruce," like just waiting for us to go. To go one down, when actually at that point, if we'd have been playing badly, I could have perhaps understood that, but we were playing well at the point we went 1-0 down. So yeah, I saw Andy put something on Twitter about someone who just spent the whole game moaning and then walked out at 85 minutes saying, "Oh, it's good to see some things never change, it's still as rubbish as always." And a lot of people walked out and missed the goal as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty empty when we scored. I mean, we've never been a team in my lifetime that have scored late goals, so for us to score two in two home games is unbelievable, because I don't remember too many stoppage time goals at Villa Park. So 2 already this season is a good thing. So hopefully it stops people from leaving early. I'm never going to knock anyone who does it. I personally have never done it, but I'm never going to knock anyone that does it, because everyone's got their reasons, and it's up to you what you do. But you've missed 2 big moments in the season already by leaving early if you leave early.
It's very true, very true. David Hunt, I'm not part of the Bruce Out fan base. We
cool.
I don't know who that is.
You didn't need that.
I didn't need that. We can certainly play better football with the players we have. We were good last night, but that will be a flash in the pan. Bruce always reverts back to type in the game. Let's protect the points we have rather than going for the 3 points. I mean, it was hard to go for the 3 points last night when we were down so late, and then scoring so late to only get a point anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we played well last night, very well. I thought against good opposition, so I don't feel like we never go. It's difficult. It's difficult. Everyone's got their opinions. Mine probably sits somewhere in the middle at times with the Bruce stuff, but I don't think he's as bad as he's made out.
Stevie P on Twitter also says, how do we unite Bruce Remainers and Brexit camps?
You just won't.
What's the we win the league by playing class football. That's the only way. And then do people all get behind Bruce, or does it? If we struggle in the Premier League, it all goes back to being Bruce. Like, I think we've talked about this before, so I don't want to harp on because, like you say, people have their own opinions.
He's here, so I feel like I may just say in the games, the majority of people are behind the team and behind Bruce. Bruce gets a good reception at Villa Park. No wonder he doesn't like social media, though, because he seems to get absolutely ripped on social media, Bruce.
Yeah.
It's like people at the games, and I'm not saying people that use social media don't go to the games, but at the games I feel like it's very pro-Bruce. On social media I feel like it's more anti-Bruce.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, fair enough. Jack Jennings, I wanted to bring this one up because I love this. I've ruined it. John McGinniester. Love that. Hadn't heard that before.
Yeah.
No. Very much enjoyed
I've
that.
been around for a few weeks.
He says McGinniester is a warrior. Codger returned to be the king, and he thinks we can win the league. Simples. You share that?
Sorry, is that Chris Dolan?
You share that Dolan confidence?
I don't know about winning the league. I think we're capable of automatic promotion with the right additions. The defence is still concerning me at the moment. That's my main worry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that back line all season. And if Chester gets injured, my God, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I don't think we're quite there yet, but we are starting to see some good things from the
100th
attackers.
game for Chester last night, 100th league game, I believe. In a row. It must be consecutive,
Must
because
be.
he hasn't missed a minute
Yeah.
in the league since he's got here. So fair play to him. What a signing he's been.
Yeah.
James Chester, what a ledge.
Absolutely, and well worth taking the Yeovil game off.
Chris Dolan's best friend as well. So
Is he?
Yeah, good friends, you know.
I know. All right, and Rolo's asked the question. He's had a lot of comparisons with McGinn as a dog. I tried to think of this on the train over because I must admit I haven't given it
You've
enough
not come
thought.
up with anything, have you?
I have. I've got one. I've got Mark Bunn as the kind of old Labrador that kind of is in a pub or by your feet at an armchair.
He's too good looking to be the old Labrador.
Labradors are beautiful.
No, but he's not an old Labrador, is he? I'd say he's more of a show dog.
No, but he's not like.
Oh, but
he's
get
not.
him out for the shows.
He's not. He's not excitable. He's not excited. He's just kind of. He's there. He's always there. He's old reliable. And if you need someone to go get your paper, that's Mark Bunn.
I mean, I've seen him getting the coffees in for Hutton and Lansbury perhaps before.
There you go.
On social media. So
Well, you if you want a show pup, surely that's.
I'd be getting Mark Bunn down Crufts or Jack.
I was going to say Jack Grealish is more your show.
You'd be
pup.
dragging him out for Crufts, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Who would be your excited little terrier or something like that? I was trying to think of a young player that
Maybe
you just.
McGinn, because he was like, he's everywhere. A bit like my new rabbit. My new rabbit's a bit like a dog.
Yeah, I mean, you brought your rabbit up last week and it didn't go down well. So
No, didn't it? I mean, I bought up a new game last week, which I thought was fun, but Dolan didn't like it, and a few people in the comments didn't like it. Cybered on Blue did not care for that game.
leave the games to me. All right.
Would you have played? Would you have enjoyed that game?
I would have. I think I would have given you more.
Did you agree with the top five? Was anyone I missed out? In playing this?
Off the top of my head, it was Hurahan was second, right?
Yeah.
Who was first?
Burker.
Yeah, I would have picked Bjarnason first. I was surprised actually that everybody had already. I was like, I've got a unique pick here.
Oh, really?
And then obviously hadn't.
Jack third.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Jack so high.
Really?
No.
He's a bit young for me.
Bit young for me.
A bit young for us. Yeah. So you really
Lansbury-
upsetting Cybered on Blue here.
Lansbury would go up.
Would he? No.
Yeah.
Me and him would clash.
Neeland's.
Neeland's in there.
It's a bit of me.
Woo.
Norwegian.
I can't remember. Mark Bunn. I'd have Bunn over him.
His feet, mate. Well, actually, feet obviously aren't a problem for me. Right, let's finish. Let's finish with. Actually, Dan Rolinson has sent us some information from the American Lions Club.
Oh yeah.
Do you
well
want to?
I'll remember. No,
Yes.
you do it.
All
I've
right.
got it in front of me. I can't do it.
Well, that's
I'll be
true.
making stuff up. Ask me to do when you've got the information in front of you.
That's true. You really haven't come prepared
I
today.
haven't took my phone out
Yeah.
of my pocket.
That's good because you play with it
Well,
usually.
yeah, you told me off last time.
Right, okay, so I'm going to read it verbatim here. First of
I don't
all,
know what that means.
It means word for word.
Okay.
First of all, love the channel. Living away from home and based in Boston, I never miss a podcast or YouTube video. Keep up the great work. I've got to say, Boston is probably my favourite city in the world.
Oh, no one cares. Carry on reading. It's
beautiful in the autumn.
You carrying on with that, are you?
Or the fall, as I say. I've been in touch with a few of you before, being from Belfast myself and having some mutual friends with Chris Dolan, naturally. Everyone's friends with
I
him.
mean, who doesn't Dolan know?
It's like 6 degrees of separation with that guy. And I am joint chairman of the Boston Lions Villa Supporters Club. As you may be aware, each year all the supporters clubs from across North America gather in a specific city and get together to watch a game and have a weekend of fun together as a Villa family. We've talked about this before,
yeah,
haven't we?
I wanted to go.
Yeah, we've previously had this in San Diego, Chicago, Austin, another great city. And we have had, and Chicago actually, I've never been to San Diego. And we have
More thoughts on different places in America?
I love
Tom?
America. Get me over. And we have had the likes of Ian Taylor come over and support the event as he did in Chicago in 2016.
Oh, I bet he loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What a ledge, and what a big drinker.
This year,
You've lost the tech.
This year in 2018, our big American meetup is in New York City at the Football Factory, New York City. Weekend away is September the 14th to the 16th. It's Blackburn away.
I'm on holiday.
Are you? I'm not. I can still get a flight over if you
pay
need.
for it yourself.
I'm actually going pushchair shopping, if you believe it. With
On
my
that
mum.
weekend?
With my mum.
That's already planned in, that you're going pushchair shopping?
I'm planned in 2 months.
Is your
in
missus
advance.
not going with you?
Yeah, she's coming.
Oh, I
as
was going
well.
to say.
Yeah. But if a ticket comes, economy is fine. A ticket comes to go to New York.
Let me tell you, if you suddenly got a ticket, I'd be absolutely furious. Yeah, I'd be livid.
At the moment, we are looking at around 150 plus people attending, which will be a record and one we are very proud of. 151. Yeah, make it happen. If we sell enough mugs, can I go?
No.
Oh, all right. Okay.
If I can't go, no one can go.
No Bardell,
No, I'm not having it.
No trip. We host raffles and auction off some of the signed memorabilia and other items, and all proceeds go to Acorns charity, which again we're extremely proud of. So that's the message there. So if you are based in America or close by, you can get a flight to New York. Go. It's the weekend, 14th to the 16th of September, Blackburn away. Or get in touch with the Villa View as well. We can put you in touch with the right people. Even if you're in America and you want to be connected to your closest fan base, we can try and make that link as well.
Interestingly, I'm going over to New York in December, and I'm going to go to the Football Factory and watch the West Brom game. I don't think, obviously, 150 people won't be there, but the New York Lions Club will be there, so I'm going to go and watch the Villa West Brom away game.
Oh, nice.
And she's going to be delighted.
Yeah,
I've told her.
What time does it start?
You'll get moved to a 5:30 kick-off, won't it? Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to that. So any New York villains listen to our podcast, I'll be going there in December.
Nice.
Yeah.
Room for one more?
Pay for yourself. You can come to that. You got my permission to come to that. You just can't come. You'll have a baby by then, though. You'll be a changed man. You won't even be doing the podcast anymore.
That's true.
You won't be allowed to do anything
Breaking
once you
news.
have a baby.
Breaking news. Tom Julian leaves the podcast in baby shock.
I mean, it won't be a shock now because we've just told everyone.
And that's a terrible headline. Nobody's going with that, are they?
No, I'd have expected better from a trained journalist.
That's true. It's been a while.
Tedious Tom says ta-ta. Is that better?
It's very Sun, isn't it? It's very your level. Right. Happy?
Yeah, very.
Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I think we're done, Tom.
Good.
Off you go with the outro. Let me tell you, fan cam
interrupt.
Fan cam outros last night. I had to do it about 5 times.
Did you?
Rubbish.
Why?
Absolute rubbish. I couldn't get my words out.
It was quite late, wasn't it?
It was getting late. I was antsy about the drive. It's about to rain. I knew we had to do something else quickly afterwards.
Right.
Off you go.
Tough. Thank you very much for watching or listening this podcast. We appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, could you like or subscribe or comment?
Preferably do all those things.
Do all of those things. See, you can't interrupt. I never interrupt you. Give me credit.
Get it right then.
Yeah, no, come on. Make sure you comment. What's the team you'd like to see? Are you excited to see Balassi or El Ghazi? Do you know anything about him? Are you excited to see him? Different kind of dog types for Villa players, always good. Tips for DBs when he goes to New York. And if you've enjoyed this and you're listening to it on iTunes as well, don't forget to give us a little review. We're going to go through some of them in the international break, so that's going to come up. You're not here for the international break, are you? No, so perfect timing, really. So you can slag off Dan, and he won't even hear because he doesn't listen. What else? Yeah, get in touch with us if you are from North America and you wanna be connected. We can try and make that happen as well as possible.
Watch fan cams if you haven't.
Make sure you watch fan cams. I'm just about to come on.
Were you actually going to say? I thought you'd forget.
And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do with your post notifications on. That really helps us as we keep expanding. Thank you very much if you bought the mugs. We appreciate that and appreciate all your support all the way through. Thank you very much. Stick with the Villa. Stick with the channel. Stick with Bardell. See you later.
Bye. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.